This episode of the Redbeard Podcast is brought to you by DJ Tone Entertainment. If you're looking for a DJ to provide the best entertainment with cutting-edge equipment for your event, then look no further. From weddings and corporate events to birthday parties and family reunions, DJ Tone Entertainment can do it all. You can find their rates on Facebook or message them for a personalized quote. So don't wait. Book DJ Tone Entertainment today.
What's going on, everybody? This is Tony from the Redbeard Podcast. And guys, it is Monday. And if you got a case of the Mondays, this is the perfect place to be. It is the Redbeard Podcast. We got a bunch of cool stuff going on in the news for you. So Stan Lee, his 36-year-old business partner, is in some trouble. He filed a restraining order against him. We're going to talk about exactly what's going on with that. Also, Marvel's Cloak and Dagger was released on Hulu and Freeform on June 7th. A lot of cool stuff about that. The reviews are in there, good. And I know Cooley's got some stuff to talk about, so you're going to hear his review. And also, if you guys are familiar with Tommy Wiseau, you know, the guy who is famous for the best, worst movie in the world, The Room. Also, James Franco did some stuff about him in The Disaster Artist, if you haven't checked that out. But he actually auditioned for the Joker. And you guys can see that everywhere on the internet. We're going to talk about our thoughts on that. So with that being said, in the words of Arnold Schwarzenegger, stick around.
Redbeard Podcast is brought to you by these cool dudes.
And we're back. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Monday. This is the place to be, the Redbeard Podcast. Yo, so I got Ren. What's up, Ren?
Yo, what's Gucci?
Yeah, I don't know. Yo, Cooley, what's up?
What up?
And Jim, what's going on?
Hi, everybody. Hey, Ren, why did you pull your bandana off your mouth? You look like a member of Hollywood Undead.
You like that? Oh, I don't want to be related to them at all. This bandana's coming off.
She pulled it down because she already robbed the bank and got what she needed.
Yeah.
She looks like a member of Tom Clancy's The Division.
No, she looks like she could be a sick addition to Young Guns 2 with Emilio Estevez.
Oh, I fuck with Emilio
Boom.
Estevez.
What's
I
that?
fuck with Emilio Estevez.
He's a fucking baller.
Yeah.
Brother of Charlie Sheen, different name.
Clean living.
Different mom.
Just saying,
Clean
Breakfast
living.
Club. Oh, yeah, right? And also a really
Men
good
at Work.
director.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. Anyway, enough about Emilio Estevez. So, guys,
Yeah.
some crazy shit going on in the news with Stan Lee right now.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not
yes.
good. I mean, Stan Lee is good, but you know, he's fine. Let's talk about this for a second.
Okay.
My grandmother just turned 90, right, which is a testament itself. Stan Lee is 95.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy, man.
He's old as dirt.
That gives you hope that, you know, there's more time.
Seriously, man.
Yeah.
My
For
grandmother,
grandma.
my sister took a picture of my grandmother today at a restaurant. I don't know which restaurant it was, having a margarita, 90 years old. Shout out to my grandmother, baller, right? And I don't know what that means. Oh, that was my phone.
Great job.
Yeah, it's good times. But anyway, so no, but for real though, 95 years old, and unfortunately, his 36-year-old business manager, what's his name, guys?
Kia Morgan.
Kia Morgan, Stan Lee filed a restraining order against him from preventing him from seeing his family and friends and other things because he theories are that he wants to get a hold of Stan Lee's estate, which is worth and whatever else he's worth, $50 million.
Yeah.
Which is really messed up.
Yeah,
I mean,
been taking advantage. Basically, he's been taking advantage of his poor conditions, like his loss of hearing, loss of sight,
right.
and you know his memory issues and stuff like that, and taking advantage of that to kind of guide him and steer him to like you know give him like control over his estate and
access
stuff like that,
to
like
his
you
funds
said,
and
right?
stuff like that. Yeah.
Which
Pretty
is something.
crazy. I
I mean, let's just be real and acknowledge the fact that Stan Lee is not the only elderly person that's going through something like this. Any elderly person, anybody who's losing their mental faculties due to just age, is in danger of this type of abuse. Stan, I saw him at Hasbro, and
You met him.
yeah, I actually did meet him too. But I saw him at Hasbro recently. Is when I met him. It was a while ago. But I saw him at Hasbro recently, like about a year ago, and he didn't look terrible. He didn't seem too far out of it, and he was very jovial and told his stories well. So I don't think he's that far gone. But I do think that it is easier to take advantage of somebody who is starting to slow down. I mean, when you start getting older, you start to slow down, and he is losing his eyesight to the point where he literally has to have somebody help him sign autographs. Like, this is where you're gonna sign, Stan, and they guide him. They put the pen down, and then he signs, and it's just sad that somebody would do that.
This guy is worth $50 million. According to this report, he doesn't have to actually go out and do this stuff anymore. But the fact that he does means that he really appreciates his fans and he actually loves what he does. You know what I mean? This guy could be cashing on in $50 million, going on vacation every week, seeing the world. I'm probably sure he has already. But I mean, he's going out of his way to still show appreciation to his fans. And I really respect that.
Well, why wouldn't you? I mean, can we honestly all sit here and say that this is probably the second golden age of Marvel?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a good point.
I mean,
yeah,
the
definitely.
movies have reached an entirely new fan base, and because of that, I think there's a bit of a resurgence of Marvel.
Yeah. Right. And he's already filmed, I think, there's been 10 cameos that haven't been released by Marvel.
Right.
Where he's already in the movies that we don't even know about yet.
He looks great for his age.
He does.
Can we say that? He honestly
does. I would never expect him to be.
good.
I could say if I saw him, like the way I see him in movies, I would say like mid-70s. That's just me. Or maybe like late 70s. But I mean, he doesn't look like 95 to me.
No.
So good for him.
He's mummified.
Right, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, when we were like on break before recording, this dude is like, I look at him as like a family member. Like, I look at him as somebody who I would welcome as a grandparent. You know what I mean? Like, I see him as somebody like that. Like, a lot of like who I am is based on characters that he created, and it's just, it's sad to see somebody taking advantage of him like that. And I'm just glad that they finally got a handle on it. The only thing that's bothering me is that it's a temporary restraining order.
Right.
They are still waiting for the they're still waiting for the permanent restraining order to be, signed off on.
Why wouldn't there be a permanent already for something like this?
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why that's
kind of screwed up.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to have a permanent restraining
They have a
order.
business relationship, so I'm sure there's like stipulations that have to go into effect as far
Maybe
as like
proof of like physical abuse or like laundering or stealing money, basically.
Yeah, I'm sure, and they have to decide like, is this guy going to have to split operations, or are they going to have to like
hire somebody new?
Yeah.
But thank goodness for Tom Lawless, who's his attorney, for going ahead and filing that, on his behalf, and trying to get this done for him. He's been very outspoken about what's been going on, and really trying to get everything taken care of for him, and really being there for him it's great. I mean, like, there was a point just before this whole thing went down where he got the restraining order, where it almost seemed like Kia Morgan was holding him hostage, and it looked like he was being forced to read a script on a video that they posted on Twitter, which
I
was
saw that.
Yeah, which was basically just saying like, hey, Kia Morgan is the only person that has sole control over everything, and he's the only person that I'm working with, and he's the only person that represents me. And like, you could almost tell that it wasn't really his words. It was somebody else guiding him to say that. And
then Kia like reblogged it on his own Twitter, and I'm
Yeah.
like, that's crazy people stuff.
Yeah, especially when in that video he's saying, and nobody is forcing me to say this. You know what I mean? It's like, that is
that's
just
obvious as
clearly
shit.
somebody forcing him to say it.
For sure.
So I look, it's been bothering me for a very long time that this has been going on, and I am very, very relieved to see that some action is being taken. since I am completely helpless to do anything about the
Well,
issue.
he actually. So, I'm sorry. Did I just cut you off? Go
No,
ahead.
it's okay.
Yeah.
All I was going to say is if there's anything to be taken out of this, if you're eligible for AARP, you should be wary of men who share the same name as an Arctic sled dog.
Or the car brand.
Oh man.
But I mean, I think the fact that Stan Lee has actually gone public with this is good because now people are more aware of
Or
it.
at least his lawyer went public with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
We love you, Stan Lee.
Definitely.
Yeah, and for sure, we want to thank Lawless, Tom Lawless.
Is that his lawyer?
That's his lawyer,
Yeah.
the one that actually is getting him out of the trouble. I mean, there are a lot of women and men out there that are in those situations, and they don't have people that will stick up for them. Stan Lee's a very lucky man to have someone like Tom.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Lawless, not lawless.
Right, Lawless.
Definitely. Good call out. So another cool thing happened. Cloak and Dagger by
Was
Marvel.
the first one cool?
It was cool, man.
No,
Because
a
it's-
cool thing happened in light of the bad
That's-
thing that's been happening.
Yeah, exactly. So Marvel's Cloak and Dagger actually came out on June 7th with Hulu and Freeform. We definitely posted some stuff on the Redbeard Podcast Instagram about it. Cooley, you were like immediately a big fan of this. I don't think I've ever seen somebody jump on a show and post about it so fast. You really seem to love this show, man. Just like what stuck out to you? What did you love about it? What was awesome, man?
Dude, the show is just fucking great. It's the writing, it's the performances, it's the ambiance of the show, the way that it's put together, the filming, everything about this show is better than I imagined it could be.
Can I just tell you that for Cooley to come out and actually say that the writing is good is a testament to the show, because he is the first person in the world to tell you that it was lazy writing, and obviously this is not the case. So, I would definitely take that to the bank, man. So what exactly about the writing stuck out to you?
Just the fact that it touches on like social issues that we're having today without it being
Like in your face?
well, it's definitely in your face,
it
but
is.
it doesn't feel fake. It doesn't feel forced. It feels
Organic.
exactly.
Okay.
It's
Good
it,
word.
it's like it takes it head on. I mean, Aubrey Joseph is the kid that plays Tyrone Johnson, and I don't think they could have found a better actor. This kid is
He looks
amazing.
adorable.
He
Yeah.
is the perfect combination of awkward and cool. It's like he seems just like a real person. You know what I mean? It's just really cool. His reactions to things, the way that he plays off other characters, he just seems like somebody who would be a good friend to have.
Word.
And Olivia Holt, who plays Dagger, or Tandy Bowen, is she's just really good at her role too. I mean, like so Tyrone Johnson. This is something that Ren had pointed out at one point when we were talking about it, is that their roles are kind of reversed from what you would expect of the stereotype for people. Like, so if you look at, if you see it and you see like a white girl and a black kid, like the stereotype would be the black kid's having problems, and like he comes from a poor family and or a broken home, and they're struggling, and he's like a thug or whatever, and that the girl would be
Probably from like an upper class family.
yeah, and like Save the Last Dance, right?
Yeah.
I was just about to throw
yeah.
that out.
It's always
Trying to
like
bide my time.
Like the
Yeah.
white girl who's like, I'm in a rebellious phase. I'm gonna date the kid from the bad side of town.
She
Right.
does ballet. She
Yeah.
loves hip hop.
Yeah. But the funny thing is that she does ballet.
Does
So,
she really?
Yeah, so Tandy Bowen is a ballerina.
So what
Her
is Save the
family
Last
was
Dance?
well off at one point, but because of Hurricane Katrina,
What?
like her father died
In Hurricane Katrina?
in Hurricane Katrina.
Oh shit.
And her mom just lost it and was like, she was a pain pill junkie, and just kind of lost everything, and like they were in this, now they're living in an apartment and kind of getting by day. The mother keeps losing jobs and doesn't really do what she's supposed to do to, you know, raise a child. As a little girl, she grew up watching her mother in these situations, so she is now a pill junkie, and
Oh my God.
she's out there doing all kinds of crazy shit, like stealing from people and just trying to get by that way, and stealing money and collecting shit that way to get out and get her own life. And it's a really cool dynamic to see that be the case. And then Tyrone comes from a very well-off family. The mom's got everything put together, but she's struggling with the demons of losing her first son to a cop shooting.
Oh no.
So a police officer killed her son, and they covered it up, and Tyrone witnessed it. So like that's kind of like his little inner struggle, and just the way that they deal with it.
That's great. Not what actually happened,
Right.
Yeah.
but just for a psychological standpoint, like how a character is made up. That is a great thing that they can delve into later in
Right.
the show.
And it's just they did it all in a way that the cinematic approach was very well done. The color palette, like everything was just great, man. Awesome.
One of the things I think is really cool is that there's an article that was posted by Variety that really kind of points out some cool aspects of the show, or just some differences. It says, and I quote, "Cloak and Dagger can be as blunt as a punch to the face when it hammers home the difference between Tandy and Tyrone's lives. A few scenes, especially in the pilot, are so paint by numbers that you can see where they're going the second they start. Still, blunt is exactly in line with what superhero origin stories tend to be, and Cloak and Dagger nonetheless does a few things to set itself apart from the dozens we've seen before."
Yeah, and
Which I think is
everything-
awesome. You know
But
what
everything
I mean?
that I mentioned, I just spoke for like 7 minutes
Yeah.
probably, and I didn't once mention superpowers.
Yeah,
know.
but that's what I'm saying. That's the cool thing about
Yeah.
the show.
And I love this from an actor standpoint. Olivia Holt, she's another Disney girl that's coming up through the system. But, and you'll love this, Tony,
Yeah.
Aubrey Joseph, who plays Cloak, is a Broadway actor. He
Hell
was
yeah.
found off of Broadway doing
He was,
Broadway
yeah.
musicals.
That makes perfect sense
Yeah,
because
he
he
was.
was so fucking good.
Well, he's got like a theatrical background. Like definitely, like I watched like an episode of it. It was, you could tell.
Yeah.
Just his like presence on
Oh,
film.
so
is-
you saw some of it?
the first episode? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
didn't watch
what did you
any
think
more.
of him?
He was good, man. Like I'm saying, like you know from the first, I'd say like couple minutes in, that he has a theatrical presence.
Yeah, he stole it from me. He stole the show.
Like there's so the only other person that I know that has a theatrical presence on, and it's, I'm glad that you confirmed that, because
Thank you.
there's no problem,
About what
Jim.
you're about to say next.
Not a problem.
you.
There's only one other person, and it's weird because I was wrong about this. But anybody who has watched Breaking Bad, the guy who played Gus, for me, seems and acts like he would have a theatrical background. But when I met him at Walker Stalker, I asked him if he actually had any theater experience. None whatsoever.
He's just eloquent AF.
Thank you. And that's the best way I can say it. Like literally, he's so good on film. This kid, though, I got the same impression, but does have a theatrical background, which is really
Right.
awesome. You know what I mean? You see
Yeah.
where he kind of gets that, like that. He's got that classic training.
I love how quiet he is and reserved, and
Yeah.
he only speaks when he has something to say, really, and it's a refreshing role for a young black actor,
Yeah.
to be out there and just be just a positive young teen, trying to make his way.
Did it stay like close to the comics, or did it like veer off in any way?
It's close enough to the comics. It is not jumping feet first into the whole we have powers and we're going to use them for good thing. They are just discovering that they have the powers. They haven't used them for anything yet. Everything has been accidental. He's teleported accidentally a few times. One time he ends up on the roof of Roxxon,
Right.
after falling asleep. One time he ends up in the trunk of a cop car. So and she can create these light daggers out of her hands, and that's all accidental and like almost on cue with like her emotional outbursts There was one scene where she was about to be raped, which was
Oh,
also
Jesus.
very
But
graphic.
that's social, man. Like that's.
But it was
I like
very-
that.
That's
Yeah,
social.
exactly.
No,
the rape
it
is
is.
social.
No,
No, it
it's
was.
just so
It totally
no,
was.
but I'm. That's oh god, way to make it awkward. That's just no. It's a social issue that like that. I like that they like brought that
Yeah.
real. Like that's like that needs to be addressed. I'm serious.
But like
This
she
sounds
like,
like a heavy AF show, and then they're like,
It
"Oh,
is.
superpowers are also
but then
involved."
but
then
it's a real life situation that some people can relate to.
But
I'm
in the
just saying.
process, but in the
my
process
God.
of, but in the process of that happening, she forms her. That's the first time that she actually forms one of these blades of light and actually stabs this kid in the gut and leaves him
Oh,
for
yeah.
dead. Which is just, it was just a cool
She's
moment.
like, "You want to put something in me? I'll put something in
That's
you."
exactly what it felt like. It was really cool.
Damn.
And
One
she
of-
and when it happened, she screamed no. Like she was like no, and like then you see this kid just like, oh, what the hell just happened, right?
Well,
It's
one of the
just-
things I've heard is that they compared this to like being not a spin-off, but like it jumps right on the back of like what Runaways started off with. Like Runaways kind of established like these like teens kind of in distress, and like Cloak and Dagger kind of jumped on that and just keeping that train going.
Well, the coolest thing about this show is that they're runaways.
Right.
So eventually, that's what's going to happen. They're going to run away together, and when that does happen, like that's
Do you think there's
that's when
any,
the
like,
adventure picks up.
do you think there would be any type of crossover between those two worlds?
Somebody mentioned that on Twitter, and I wanted to respond with an emphatic hell no.
Yeah, probably not.
Like I don't want that to happen just because Runaways is such a different show.
Yeah.
And while I liked it, this show is a far superior beast. And I wouldn't want that chocolate and peanut butter mixed together.
It also
Alright.
sounds like it's got more of a sense of realism, like it's like real issues going
Right.
on. I mean, besides the superpowers, but like the Runaways is like, here's a dinosaur
Yeah.
and also an alien.
Right.
It controls everything. It's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it did deal with some real teen issues, but
For sure. Like finding out your parents are shitty and not who you thought they were is a big issue.
right.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. One of the other auditions that well, it's not an audition that we were just talking about, but whatever. So
Something we mentioned earlier.
I was trying to find a segue and I totally fucked it up. Whatever. But the other thing that I thought was really funny that I just saw a couple days ago was how many people here have seen The Room? I haven't.
Oh,
Jim has.
I
You
totally have.
So Cooley and I are the only people that haven't seen
Here,
it.
have a half a glass of vodka mixed with half a glass of scotch.
That's an inside joke. So I haven't seen the actual Room yet, but I have seen The Disaster Artist with James Franco and Tommy Wiseau, the guy who was directed and was in The Room and whatever. He's just a mess.
He bankrolled it. He
yeah,
wrote it.
produced it.
Main
Yeah,
actor.
has a weird accent, but he's from New Orleans. People think he has connections with the
From
Russian
New
mob. Who
Orleans.
knows? Yeah, this guy is super weird. But basically, there was an audition that posted online when it was when information was released that Joaquin Phoenix was going to be playing the Joker in an origin story, which you've already talked about. And Tommy Wiseau released an audition tape where he actually he played the Joker. But I guess, Ren, you actually shed some light on this.
Yeah.
This wasn't a real audition tape.
No.
So
it's
what
not.
happened?
Thank
It was
God.
Nerdist produced, right?
Yeah, what happened was
What
the Nerdist.
happened?
So they're a super funny. I mean, it used to just be what's his name, Chris Hardwick or
Hardwick,
whatever,
yeah.
being the Nerdist, and now it's just spiraled into a big thing.
Yeah.
But what would be, super funny is putting Tommy Wiseau in that position.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw this video a while ago because I'm into all things Tommy Wiseau. I think
Right.
he's a secret genius.
Oh yeah, he's like Andy Kaufman.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
sure.
definitely.
I love him so much. So I saw the video. I laughed. I knew instantly, like, this isn't real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird because I saw it just I forgot how I found out about it, but somebody had sent it to me and I was like, "What?" and I watched it, and I thought it was a real audition video, and I think that's what made it great for me.
No,
is
he's
that
holding like a microphone, and in a real audition, you're not holding a microphone.
right? But at the same time, I was like, it's Tommy Wiseau, so he probably would be weird, and
He brings
and
his
asked
own
to be
shit.
like, can I hold this? Can I hold this microphone while I
He
do
did a
this?
really
You know,
good makeup job on him. I'll say
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
like he did. It was like him at first, just like slating, "Hi, I'm Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna be doing the Joker," which you don't do, and then it was him instantly in makeup going, "Ah," which was weird, like as
Yeah.
the Joker.
Put a smile on this face.
Yeah. Oh, so good. But he was basically, the funny thing is that like it wasn't his. It was his take on the Joker. But it wasn't anything original. It was Tommy Wiseau
Playing the
and
Dark
Heath
Knight,
Ledger
yeah.
makeup doing lines that the Joker said in previous movies. That's all it was. And it
Yeah.
was
It was a combination of Nicholson and Ledger.
It was, man. But the funny thing about this audition, and Cooley, you saw exactly what I was talking about. Yeah, if you get rid of the accent, it actually was his
It could
Joker
work.
cadence could actually pass because he came off as psychotic. You know, like there were
Yes.
there were certain moments that were so dumb and made you laugh because you know it's him. But if I had never heard of Tommy Wiseau and I saw this audition, I'd be like, who is this guy? He needs to play the Joker.
No, like it is
Like
perfect.
that is exactly what I would have thought.
But we know who Tommy Wiseau is, and I feel like I like his screaming, but that's accidental. Like
It
that's
is.
just Tommy Wiseau. I think we realize by now that he is not an actor, and that he lives off of the fact that he's so bad that people find it watchable.
No, this is someone in the Nerdist camp that said, "Man, it would be fucking hilarious if Tommy Wiseau
Oh yeah,
was the Joker."
It's all a big
Like,
joke.
yeah,
No
and
one can take
they
it
said,
seriously.
and all of the people in the room said, "Holy shit, that is perfect."
But let me
and then they made it happen.
But let me ask you this. If you guys, seriously, if you did not know who Tommy Wiseau was, and this guy actually posted an audition tape and on the internet, I mean, like I'm saying, say whatever, it was pushed, and it got to the point where a lot of people were watching it. Do you think that this guy has a shot at playing the Joker?
Absolutely
legit?
not.
No.
Actually,
No way.
Unlike
hold on.
Saturday Night
Wait a
Live,
minute.
maybe.
Wait a
Okay.
minute. Wait a minute. No. I take it back. After all of the shit that I've watched from the DC extended universe, he does have a shot. He's absolutely got a shot.
In Poland, maybe.
No, I'm not saying that people will like it. I'm saying that Warner Brothers would absolutely give him a shot.
I feel like if he got rid of the accent, I mean,
Have
which
you
is-
watched
which-
Justice League? Have you watched Batman v Superman? Have you watched Superman, Man of Steel? Have you watched like any of the DCEU movies besides Wonder Woman?
Yeah, like how you're like the one good movie.
Suicide Squad?
Yeah, they're all garbage films, but they're
Yo,
people
Tommy Wiseau's
pretending
got a
to be
shot.
serious.
He's got a shot, absolutely.
You think he actually? Oh man, I don't know. I'm
I
actually-
think that
But
that I
again, but
wouldn't be
Jared Leto
surprised.
versus Tommy Wiseau. Ren, what's up?
Aesthetically,
No,
Tommy
just,
Wiseau.
just no. I mean, just in general, as far as like more believable Joker.
oh yeah, Tommy Wiseau.
Really?
An insane
Even with a Russian
person?
accent? Yeah.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have a Russian accent. He's from somewhere in Poland, is what they have discerned.
It's okay. It's a whatever accent.
Yeah, and
but with
an
that accent.
European accent.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Slash New Orleans.
Because, like, yeah, obviously Jared Leto got the job, but if you're looking like aesthetically, if you're looking for portrayal of a character, like terrible costuming aside, Jared Leto is a try-hard in this film. Like, you saw interviews with him where he's like, yeah, I got so into the character, I lost myself. He's trying to live up to a Heath Ledger, like, actual sick mentally person, and Tommy Wiseau is just naturally fucked. So your blueprint is already better off with Tommy Wiseau. Jared Leto is like the cool kid in high school who's really trying to hold it together, even though his dad beats his mom, and he's like, I can still play football. He's that kid.
You know what's
He's
funny?
that kid.
It's funny you said that, but I think because a lot of things actually kind of rang true for me in this. I feel like Jared Leto, right? Like they know that he's going to be mad method, but when it comes to script, he's going to stick to it. Tommy Wiseau, you're like, here's the script, and they're like, whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's what kind of makes his performance a little bit more Organic is that like you have no
He's
idea
not
what
gonna be an
the fuck you're
intelligent
getting.
Joker, but he's gonna be like a
it's gonna be
fucking
different than what
wild
you thought it
card.
was gonna be. Yeah. So.
And you got anything to say, Jim?
I was just gonna say, I don't know. I lost track. I had something lined up. And
Tommy
then you guys started
Wiseau,
talking,
Joker. That's
and
what you're talking
it's
about. No, it's
gone.
gone. All right.
R.I.P.
It flew
Word.
the cuckoo's
Pouring
nest.
out.
All right.
So. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah. I don't know. Go ahead, man.
That's it, man. We'll be back. We'll be back Friday.
We'll be
That
back on
can't be how
Friday.
you end it. You're gonna edit this out, right? you can't just edit it. You can't just end it with, "Hey Jim, do you have any thoughts?" "No, I forgot." "All right, Redbeard Podcast." check us
That's
out.
exactly how every episode's gonna end now.
This is actually this whole conversation is now going to be the ending.
Yes,
So-
absolutely.
Oh man. Anyway, Jim's wearing a porn star hat. All right, guys. With that being said, that is the end of this Monday's episode of the Redbeard Podcast. Later.
Bye.
Yeah, make sure you check us out Friday, and make sure you check out We Love Wednesdays every Thursday.
And the Bachelor After Party with Becca and Tony on Mondays.
There we go.
Goodbye.
Boom. Later.
I
Bye.
have nothing.